The Vergas Show is brought to you by Spanky Stone Hearth, casual fine dining on beautiful Rose Lake. Vergas State Bank, your locally owned community full-service bank. Vergas Event Center for gatherings large or small, including weddings. Vergas Liquor Store, where all the profits profit Vergas.
Make the right call. Call Hanson's, the most trusted name in plumbing and heating.
Hi, welcome to the Vergas Show. I'm Sherri Hanson. Thanks for joining me today. Maple Syrup Fest is coming up, and that means it's spring in Vergas. Hopefully everybody gets that same vibe and all that going on. And we got Maple Syrup Fest coming again, courtesy of the Vergas Community Club and the Vergas Lions. You are not going to want to miss the pancake breakfast. You're not going to want to miss the games and things that are going to be going on throughout town, all the specials in all the stores. And this year we are bringing back the syrup tasting contest for the producers of the maple syrup, and so that's always a lot of fun. We moved some of those items downtown this year so that there's plenty of room for everybody to go up and eat pancakes and maple syrup, and that's all at the event center. That's from 7:30 to 11:30, and the other events will be going on downtown between 9 and noon, and of course there's a 5K SAPS running, so there's just a lot going on. So check out the Vergas Community Club Facebook page for all the updates on it, and just come to town April 13th, Saturday, April 13th. You're going to want to be in Vergas for Maple Syrup Fest. Today I have a special guest with me, and as I said, we had maple syrup tasting contest, and the last we had it was in 2019. So Stu Peterson, Stu, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Stu got to keep this trophy in his shed, in his sugar shack for 4 years, right?
It's been there safe and sound.
Yeah, safe and sound. And when I asked him for it back, he told me it was stolen, and so
In the dead of night.
In the dead of night, nobody saw it. But this beautiful piece of art that Patrick Shannon created for us back in 2017 when we started the syrup tasting contest, and in 2019, Stu, you won it.
We did.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you got going on with all those 1,200 trees you have out there this year.
Well, a long time ago, we started with 50 trees.
Okay.
And just sort of incrementally built it up and expanded, and about 3 years into it, we built a real sugar house and bought commercial equipment, and we got licensed and certified organic, and kind of made that transition from a hobbyist to a commercial operation.
That's a big deal to go from a hobbyist, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It should be.
Right, because, and so how many trees do you tap in a season then?
We're at about 1,200.
Okay, so.
Which around here is pretty good size.
That is pretty good size.
In Vermont, they'd call me a hobbyist. But
well, aren't we're the northern and westernmost in the United States, correct?
Minnesota is the westernmost commercial producer of maple syrup. There's maple syrup made in Montana, there's maple syrup made in Oregon and Washington.
Sure.
But it's not on a commercial scale.
Right, on the commercial scale.
Not yet.
So what defines hobbyist and commercial?
It's a good question. I would contend that if you start selling to the public, you better think about the business and commercial side of it.
Sure, licensing and because there's a liability.
There is exemptions for maple syrup from licensing under certain conditions that is pretty common, but if I'm going to sell a food product to the public and put my name on it, I want it to be of high quality.
Oh, absolutely.
And consistent. And
yeah, and that's just only being responsible.
Yep.
Right. I mean, if you do it your trees on your own and you want to give to family and things like that, that's a different thing. Family forgives everything, right?
That's the fun part. Yeah. Give the bad syrup to the family.
Yeah. Give it. But Stu, you have graciously offered to give a presentation this year at Maple Syrup Fest. So Summers Design Center is kind of our little hub where we wanted to be back downtown. We needed a space for it, and then they opened up their doors and said, okay, we've got some space here. That's where the kids' games are going to be going on. That's where you'll sign up for the run. That's where you will, the syrup tasting contest will be going on and taking place. But that's also at 10 o'clock in the morning, you're going to give a presentation. And who is this for, and what does it cover?
Well, I've called it Back to the Basics, and it's largely focused on answering the questions of beginning producers, small producers, but ideally we'll have a mix of people's interest and activity and level of involvement in maple, so we can get, I don't have all the answers, but if we can get some good exchange going, and if someone wants to know about getting the correct density,
Right.
I'll tell everybody how we do it and the instruments we use.
Well, and it's kind of nice, like you said, to get that conversation going, because there's maybe some ideas that some of the hobbyist has that, oh, I never thought of that. Yeah.
And there's some really fun face group discussion groups on
Okay.
maple, and they are so entertaining. And for the most part, it's pretty good information. It's not all best practices.
No, absolutely. That's with anything social media, right?
So it's kind of fun to see what's on people's minds and what a lot of people are asking the same kind of question.
Sure. So this presentation, it's geared for somebody who's thinking about starting,
Sure.
but it's also geared for the guy that's been doing it for a number of years, because he might, garner some new information.
He or she might be a big help to me.
Right. You're right. I need to get that she in there. It's not just the guys that are doing this. Your wife helps you quite a bit, doesn't she?
She's a big part of it. Yep.
Right. So what does your average morning look like when you go out and are gonna, when you're in the middle of, I know that you had said that last year was the latest that you were able to tap trees, and then you turned it around, and this year was probably one of the earliest.
Back to back. The latest last year, our first boil was April 18. This year, the earliest start we've ever had in our first boil was February 25th.
Oh.
So that's almost 2 months difference.
So that gives you a larger span of being able
Yep.
to. So how has the season gone this year? Walk me through that.
We got an early start, obviously, and we're at about, at this point, a third of what I'd like to be making.
Okay.
Maybe not quite half.
So it has to get cold at night, warm and during the day. Walk me through that.
Yep.
I'm a basic.
Right now we're in a multi-day lull that's been below freezing in the snow, and so we're all caught up, just waiting for the next warm cycle to follow this freeze cycle.
Okay.
And
So your average day when the sap is flowing, what happens?
first thing I do is check the thermometer, see how cold it got overnight. If it went into the 20s and sap has been flowing, that probably tells me sap will run again in late morning once the morning sun starts to warm things up. And if I have collected sap the previous afternoon, the first thing I'll do is boil that sap. You want to boil sap as soon as you can after it's harvested.
Is there a time frame on that? I mean, that you can't?
Sap will spoil just like milk.
Oh, sure. Okay.
If you leave a bucket of sap out in the sun and it's 50 degrees and the sun is beating down on it, in 24 hours you can have slime.
Sure.
In
So
the
you boil-
the early season, with fresh sap out of the tree, you can get a couple, 2-3 days out of it if you keep it cold.
Right.
But
So
it's a precious commodity, and
Right.
it's really hard for people to do this only on weekends.
Right, because you have to be doing it daily. You
and-
got to be watching it daily and
Yep.
what you're holding. And so you start early in the morning and you go all day long then, don't you?
Yep, we do a lot of crock pot dinners,
Yep.
because you never know when you're going to
When
finish
you're
up.
going to get back in, especially with that number of trees. And so,
And if it's warm overnight, the sap can run 24 hours.
oh, okay.
And if you're coming out of a freeze cycle, you'll probably get a slower flow, but that can be chaos in the morning, because you got,
Yeah,
in
you
our
got-
case, all these bins, and you don't want them overflowing. And so rather than boiling first thing, you're out doing triage in the woods, trying to
Sure.
keep from losing sap.
Sure.
And then you get home really late that night.
Right, you do. Well, you're going to want to come on Saturday, April 13th, and listen to what Stu has to say. I'm sure you're going to have a lot to share. And like you say, you're hoping that a lot of syrup producers, hobbyists, and whoever you are going to be there to have that conversation going on. I appreciate all that you do, Stu. It's just kind of fun with maple syrup. I think I will say I need to come to that basic meeting, because I do remember getting excited one year and thinking I was going to tap a town tree for everybody to watch, and it was an elm. So we didn't get anything out of it. But
you're not the first to tap a non-maple.
And so there's just so much going on. You're going to want to have pancakes between 7:30 and 11:30, and you're going to want to come downtown, shop those shops, and check out that syrup tasting contest when it's going on. You want to see who the new winner is this year. And Stu, maybe you'll take it home again. Yeah.
It should rotate.
It should rotate.
It should rotate.
So bring that stuff that you normally bring to family. Don't bring your best. So thanks so much, Stu. Thank you for being a part of the Vergas community and coming to Vergas on Saturday, April 13th. Have a good day.
Appreciate it.